You know what's really awkward? Trying to film a sketchbook tour with your iPad as your camera balanced on your printer. Hey there, it's been a while, hasn't it? I thought that it would be fun to do a sketchbook tour because I don't use sketchbooks that much. I've only recently started using them, so this is probably a really stupid thing to actually do, but here we are. And I thought, hey, it would be fun to make this into a series, even though it's just going to be me rambling at an iPad camera for however many minutes this is going to take. So I think I'm just going to get into it, because otherwise I'm going to be sitting here talking to myself, and I'm going to have to edit it out anyway, so let's go. This was my first sketchbook from high school, so I think I started this when I was 11 or 12, I can't remember now. It was a long time ago. This is the first page. We had to do some kind of weird collage thing. I don't really remember what this was. As you can see, I was very much into Sailor Moon, hence the moon and the stars. These were supposed to be canaries. We had canaries. I thought they were cute. We have some cat faces up here. I liked cats. They were my favourite animal at the time. I think when I was 11 or 12, whenever I started this, I hadn't really found a style yet. I think most people don't find their style until they're teenagers, at least. Let's move on to the next page and we'll see. The great thing is I can't remember what's in this book, so it's going to be a surprise for all of us. Next page. We have... I remember this. This was homework. This was... even the paintbrush hairs like stuck to the page. That's classy right there. I remember this was homework. This was the first bit of art homework I'd been given in high school. And as you can see, I took it very seriously. This was like the cheap palette paints that you can buy probably anywhere that kids use. I suppose I was a kid, but I can't even remember what the homework specifically was. I didn't necessarily think that it was to draw a sunrise or a sunset, or paint a sunrise or a sunset, as it may be. I particularly like my yellow birds. Moving on, swiftly. Oh, this is a copied piece, and it's very famous, and I'm very ashamed for not remembering the artist or the name of the piece right now. I'm so sorry. I don't have a good memory for famous artists. You may recognise this piece. I'm not saying that I'm so good that I managed to imitate an amazing artist's piece when I was 11 or 12, but I think it's so recognisable that maybe you can. I used pencils, coloured pencils, probably really cheap coloured pencils, because back in the day I didn't have Crayola, to be honest. I just had really the cheapest brand of art supplies, which was fine, because at this point in time I didn't really care that much. I really enjoyed drawing, always enjoyed drawing, but I didn't care that much yet. Moving on. Nice, whatever that is. Anyway, this is a picture of a mask, as you can possibly see. It reminds me of something from Rayman. I think, again, I copied another artist's picture, or a picture of a mask, or an actual mask. I don't remember. Wow, I think this is the first time I actually outlined anything, and I'm not even kidding. I particularly like the nose. This was a page on tone, and it was November 16th, 2005 or something. I'm so old. Tone. I did not understand tone, as you can see. I think I'm just going to move on. Triangles. I don't remember why we had to draw triangles, but we drew triangles. Enjoy my triangles. I think we had to use different techniques to fill them in, so probably using the tone from the last page, which I clearly hadn't particularly mastered. I don't think I really understood tone for a long time. Do I even now? Probably not. Anyway. Moving on. Oh, more tone. Look at my terrible cube, my sphere, and my cone. Look at that cylinder look. Clearly, I still did not understand. You see, this was something I was really bad at, not just my tone, but at school, was listening properly. I wasn't a bad student, just particularly with art, because I just liked to draw. I enjoyed drawing. I found it very difficult to see the point and take in what the teacher was telling me in art. I was a really bad student, and I think I did that for most of my time at school, which is bad. You see, now I understand why they were trying to teach me tone and how to draw 3D shapes, and that pencil isn't even close to being 3D. Let's move on, because this is boring. This was around Christmas time, and we had to draw a Christmas party scene, but we were only allowed to draw the floor, if I remember correctly. Those of you who are Sailor Moon fans probably still can't tell that these are meant to be Sailor Moon boots because I didn't do a very good job. I was very proud of this foot. I know it's awful, I know it's disfigured, but at the time I thought it was really well drawn. Positives. I still kind of like that foot. I know it's really bad, but I still remember how proud I was of it. Didn't like these ones so much, despite the Sailor Moon boots. But yeah, I was fairly proud of this when I was 11 or 12, so I'll take that. I think that's meant to be a Christmas cracker. That's a cookie. That's a balloon. Glass of wine that's just completely 2D. Moving on. A dancing beetle. I think we studied Aboriginal art that year. I remember doing a lot of that, and I think this was the beginning of that. When I was 11 or 12, I didn't enjoy learning about Aboriginal art, I'm afraid. I just didn't, and I didn't enjoy drawing beetles. I suppose this isn't too awful, all things considered. I'm actually kind of impressed with my 11 and 12-year-old self. Even though it's not good, it's not awful. I've seen worse. I remember this. Again, this was homework. I don't particularly remember what the homework was. I think it may have been something like draw a plant. So I drew a flower, I drew a rose, and yellow's my favourite colour, so I drew a yellow rose. I remember being fairly proud of this piece. I mean, it wasn't my best piece, but I was quite happy with it. The shading on the flowers, I was not very good at shading yet, so can you tell? I wasn't very good at shading yet, so I was probably quite proud of this. We had to grade each other. We had like a grading chart, and we had to read through it and grade each other's work, so one of my best friends at the time graded this for me, and I think at the time level 6 was the best you could get, so she gave me a level 5C. It went sort of like, I think the lowest level was level 3, so it was like level 3C was the lowest, so to give me a level 5C was pretty kind of her. But then the teacher would always come along and she gave me a 4A/4B. Starters. I don't really remember anything about this. I think we just had to draw lots of plants to make a picture. I don't know. Next page. We had to do this quite often actually. Try drawing something in like the same thing but in 4 different styles. So I think we had to do 2 professional artists' styles and then 2 of our own. So here we have, I don't know because I didn't apparently write which artists I was using as inspiration, but we have, these are cats, I think, though this will haunt me in my nightmares. Look at that. Look into those eyes. They're terrifying. Colour. Line. Oh, it's different techniques. Well then, ignore what I said earlier, I clearly don't remember. This is also going to haunt my nightmares. Oh yeah, by the way, this was based on my cat. I was obsessed with my cat. His name was Oliver, and I was obsessed with him, so I drew him a lot, as you will come to see as I go through these sketchbooks. So here we have a fantasy version. Look at that huge head and that tiny, narrow body and that brush-like tail. I don't know what that tail is doing. But hey, at least I added the collar. Fail. Tone. That cat looks like it's seen something. I know it's looking at this next drawing, but personally I think it's trying to look away from this. That poor cat. So yeah. Moving on. Oliver. See, I even plastered his name at the top. I was so proud of my cat. I think we had to do a tonal drawing of an animal, and I chose my cat. And I did copy a photograph at the time, so I had a reference. But clearly that didn't help very much. But anyway, here is my kitty cat. Again, my friend gave me a level 5, and my teacher gave me a level 4. I like how I wrote it was a cat. Like, hey, can you tell what this is? Look at that detail. I don't know why, I only sort of shaded the cheeks. He has some interesting cheekbones going on, and little furry chin. I think maybe I was lazy and I didn't finish this. I don't know, maybe this is just how, he was a black cat, so maybe I had issues trying to find where the shadow and lighting was, because I wasn't very smart, clearly. Oh, we had to do a lot of these. Basically what we had to do was they would give us a topic or an art form, and we would have to basically build a final piece around it. I can't remember if we had to do that when we were as young as this, but I think they were setting us up to do that in later years. So this was probably my explanation of my work, my rationale, I can't remember what we called them. But we had to write about what we were doing and why we were doing it and what inspired us and who inspired us. I'm not going to bother to read through this, it's probably filled with spelling mistakes. And there's a cat in the background. It's Ginger this time. I like the fact that it's got cats and like little milk bottles and cat heads and fish bones and collars, and then at the top you have beetles again. I've just randomly gone back to the beetles. It was as if I was trying to do the Aboriginal style, but I just wanted to draw cats. How dare she write on my artwork to mark this? I think our teacher was ill this day, so they just gave us some random plants to draw, and of course there's a cat in there. Again, it's probably Oliver. And a mouse. I think that's a mouse, or a rat? I think it was meant to be a jungle, and for some reason there is a cat in there. I like all the spirally vines going around this plant. But that's all I have to say about this. Oh, hello. This is when we really, I think, started to go into the Aboriginal art, so I'm going to lift this up a minute. Nope, that's not going to help. Just have to... It was a double-page spread of... It's not even very detailed, as you can see, but... Turtle! We just had to... Again, it was similar to the other picture of the cat with the beetles. We just had to write about the art form, or the people who'd created the art form, and make it artistic. Yeah. Here we get into my own drawings. You see, I never used to draw in a sketchbook. I used to just draw on cartridge paper and keep it in a folder, and I did that until last year, actually. But, my friends always used to draw in their school art sketchbooks, and I didn't, but this is when I started to, because the teacher always really liked it, and I was like, hey, I do draw too. I draw outside of school, so I thought I would start sketching a little bit in my sketchbook. So I drew Sailor Moon, thinking, oh, I may not be very good in class, but look how good my work is outside of class. It's really not. It's so bad, but I tried. Again, Sailor Moon. I suppose at least this time the teacher can know what it is. I started colouring it. Apparently this is when I started outlining things. I thought it was later on, but... Oh look, I'm using that tone right in the ribbon there. It's not that terrible, I suppose. I had this obsession with wanting to draw every single Sailor Senshi, and I attempted it a few times. I don't know why I've circled her, but I have. Every single Sailor Senshi on the same page, and I think this was one of my worst attempts, so in case you don't know the Sailor Senshi, I will read them all out. So we have Sailor Neptune. I love how they all have the same pose as well. It's just like, this was before I thought about poses, about characterization, about different faces. I did attempt to do different eyes, because I used to study the eyes from the anime. I would pause the DVD, and I would draw copy the eyes into a little notebook, so I suppose it was a start. It was a good start. Anyway. We have Sailor Neptune, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Venus, I had to think about that, Sailor Mars, Sailor Moon, Sailor Chibi Chibi, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Chibi Moon, Sailor Pluto, Sailor Saturn, whose glaive is just... let's not look at that. Sailor Iron Mouse. I think this... Oh wait, I was going to say, no, that's Sailor Aluminium Siren, but it's not, it's Sailor Galaxia. That's Siren. I never know how to say her name. A very... Oh my goodness, what's going on with that koala? Australia! We had a look at Australia for Aboriginal art, clearly. I think we had to study the animals by the looks of it. Still hadn't mastered that tone there, but at least it's the shape of a kangaroo, vaguely. But this koala, can we just appreciate this for a minute? I mean, wow. Its eyes are going in different directions. What's on the next page? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A possum. A possum. Is that a possum? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. It looks like its mouth has been cut open. Oh my goodness. That's hideous. And then we have a soulless wallaby. Look at those soulless eyes. It's like I literally drew the outline and then I gave up. That's so bad. Well, I never said these sketchbooks were going to be pretty. Oh, this is particularly bad. I like the fact I coloured the tip of the tail. Oh, and I did the ears and the nose and the paws. I think you should see a doctor about that. Then there's this. I think, I'm really ashamed to say I think this was homework. I think we were supposed to draw a map. And I clearly, my heart was not in this one. See, I made my own key. That's the sun. That's cat homes, because I was obsessed with cats. That's a water hole. A food tree. A beach. And the Cat King's throne, which the Cat King, probably Oliver, is, oh goodness, is sitting on, and he also has soulless eyes. My teacher wasn't... Wait, I got a 4C for this? This should have been a 3C, I'm telling you. Well, I don't have anything good to say about this, so moving on. This video is already really long. I apologise. A random break from the Aboriginal artwork. We have a burger and a drink. I don't know why I drew this. I feel like they must have told me to, because the only things I used to draw when I had the choice was Sailor Moon and cats. So I don't really understand how this ties in. Moving on. I am very ashamed to say that this was homework, again, that I did not complete to a satisfactory standard. This one deserves to be a 3A. Too rushed. Colour in fully to achieve a higher grade. Just look at this. Did I forget that I had homework due in? It's supposed to be a boomerang, and I drew bugs on it, and oh gosh, look at the colouring. I mean, my colouring wasn't great, but oh wow, that's hideous. That's hideously bad. More anime. I really liked drawing Luna, human Luna, which is odd considering I love drawing cats, but hey, human Luna. I started doing these portraits of all of my favourite Sailor Moon characters. I think that eventually turned into all the Sailor Moon characters. They're not all in this sketchbook. I don't know where many of them have gone. Thankfully for you, you don't have to sit through them. But here we have Luna, outlined in ballpoint pen, because this was in a time before I had fine liners. I think my friends got me into that. I was very lucky my friends were more into art than I was, because that's how I learned, until I joined the internet basically, how to do art. Just how to do art in general. I don't really have anything to say about this. I'm sorry, I'm not good at sketchbook tours. Sailor Tinyanko. I quite like this one in some ways. Okay, ignore the shoulders, ignore the neck, ignore the head, ignore the mouth, and the nose, and the hair. The eyes! I like the eyes. I should have just said that to begin with. I really like the eyes. Again, because I had a reference. Why did it take me so long to realise how useful references are? This was when I got into Resident Evil. My best friends at the time were really obsessed with it, and it took me a while to get into, but Claire Redfield got me into Resident Evil in Code Veronica, and being the nerdy child I was who still loved Sailor Moon, I was like, why not turn her into a Sailor Senshi? So that's what I did. Sailor Canary. With a K instead of a C. I knew the correct spelling, I just wanted it to be different because it's not good. But again, I like the eyes. This was when I started studying eyes a lot, manga eyes, so, well, I won't go into that too much. But I like the eyes, because you can tell it's a different character. This is when I started to beat the same face syndrome, I think. This is Jill Valentine, also from Resident Evil. As you can see, she has different eyes, because that was all I could focus on. Didn't focus on the hair. Look at this, why did I not even erase this? Do you like the eyes? Moving on. Again, no, these are like stuck to the page, it's been so long. We have Alexia Ashford from, again, Resident Evil Code Veronica, because that's my favourite game. Look at that hair. Like how... Let's not get into that. I attempted shading. I like the eyes, again. The shading in the eyes aren't terrible. Yeah. And then I started drawing bodies a little bit better. Before this, if I can take you back... if I can direct you back to this page, as you can see, the bodies didn't really have any definition. I suppose the legs did a bit, but I basically just drew people as kind of straight lines. Didn't really realise that people had shapes to their bodies and curves and things. But I got a how to draw manga book, and to be honest, I've never been very good at following them, but I used to copy the poses. That was sort of the most I got out of that. Look, Oliver, I don't know why he's there. Anyway, manga Oliver. So I used to sort of draw a pose from my manga book, and then I would turn it into a character. So here we have Alexia Ashford. I think I was probably quite proud of this, even though it's not great again. We're almost at the end, I promise. Expressionism. I think we'd gone up into the next year. I think all of the Resident Evil and Sailor Moon drawings were done over the summer, and then we went into our next year, and we started looking at Expressionism. You can see the Scream face up in the corner. There's not really much going on this page. And then we have this that will haunt your nightmares again. This is, yeah. I think our teacher gave us a step-by-step in class of how to draw a head and a face, and it was the most boring lesson in the world, but if I'd paid attention, this probably wouldn't look so frightening. It's pointillism? Pointillism. Either way, as you can see, that was a new thing to me. I'm pretty sure that's based off an actual artist's picture, someone much better and more talented than me. I didn't put a lot of effort into this. I think this sketchbook basically is just this is awful. This is just scribbles, and not even sort of artistic, just bad. Oh, we started looking at Japanese culture, so again, I think I copied this picture, and I started to colour it with pastels, but I never finished, because I do not ever finish what I start. At least I didn't when I was 11 or 12. Then we have this, which, again, I think this was homework, and it's not that bad in comparison to everything else in this book. I can't really remember what the homework was. Draw a face and cut it into pieces and stick it down on a background. Then we have this, again, expressionism, I'm guessing, well, that was anger, as you can see, lots of sharp lines and angry face. And I'm guessing this was sadness. Oh, right, it says, sorry, I couldn't see. This is sadness, lots of wavy lines, a sad face. I was quite literal, apparently didn't get what they were trying to teach us. Again, I think these were supposed to, I think the teacher told us to draw an emotion, or maybe she played some music. I think she may have played some music for us, and we had to just use lines to express what the music made us feel, or how we thought the music was supposed to be interpreted. So we have nervous, erratic, angry, so lots of sharp lines, and this looks quite chilled, but it's probably sad again, just some wavy lines, and I don't even know what this is. Squiggles. And unfortunately, we're at the last page. Phone mother. Okay, we'll ignore that. And again, as we started, we finish on my interpretation of a famous artist's piece that I've absolutely ruined. It can only get better from here, can't it? This was my first year of high school sketchbook. I'd say I hope you enjoyed it, but there wasn't that much to enjoy. I can appreciate that. It was bad. Well, thank you for watching that, and I will probably present something a bit better next time. My artwork hopefully improves. I mean, I don't still draw like like this, so these videos can only get better. Thank you for watching part 1 of my Sketchbook Tour series. Good luck.